All right, so in the previous video, we managed to get our local Git repository linked to a remote Git repository, which is linked to a Vercel project, which will deploy it automatically whenever we push changes up to GitHub, and that will give us a URL with our project. So it's all this nice contiguous chain. Just make sure that you go through the process correctly. I'm not going to deploy everything right away, but we're actually going to be focusing on just the browser stuff right now. So we need to set up our integrations in Vercel now. The first thing I'm going to set up is Blob storage. So if I go over to storage and I click create database, you see we have Blob here. Now, Blob is going to be important because it's going to allow us to store files. For us, it's going to be images. So I'll go ahead and create my Blob store, connect it, and now we've got our Blob storage all set up here. You have a .env.local. So I am going to create, actually, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So new file .env.local, like that. And then I'm going to move this off because I will copy this blob write token, copy snippet, and I will just paste that into my .env file. Now it's in there. I didn't expose it, I hope. And now we're all set up for using blob. And we'll get to that in future videos. I just want to get the initial setup done. The next thing we need to do is an integration, and it's kind of weird to get to there, but I'm not sure if there's a better way. I click overview and then I click usage and then I click integrations. And we're going to be using Supabase. Now you won't have this here right away. So you'll go browse marketplace and then search for Supabase and it'll be right here. And then you install it and get it all nice and installed. And then we continue. And, you can call this whatever. I'm going to call it Exploration 4. Supabase Exploration 4. Okay. And once again, we're going to get some more environmental variables. So I'm going to move this off the screen again. And there's a lot of them for this because there's a lot of stuff this does. So I'm going to copy this snippet. And then I'm going to paste it into my .env.local, just like I did the other ones. And we are in business now. So my .env.local is all set up with all the keys. And we are ready to start working with these integrations now. We're going to open in Supabase. I want to get the initial stuff set up. So the first thing that I need to set up is authentication. So if I click authentication here, it's actually going to allow us, I think we don't even have to set this up, or maybe it's universal because I've done this before. Sign in providers, all you need to do is make sure that email is enabled. Allow new user to sign up and email is enabled. Those are the two things that we need to worry about here. Once you have that set up, you're good to go. And then the next thing we're going to do is we will go back. Actually, we'll be doing that. Oh, we can do that now. So the next thing we need to do is this user management thing, because I need to set up user management in Next. And there's some instructions here. I'm going to paste this in to the exploration description, hopefully. If not, you can search for it. Supabase, Git, Supabase. And then next we go to examples, user management, Next.js user management. And it talks about everything we're doing using auth, using avatar images. It's using Supabase storage. We're actually going to be using Vercel's blob storage instead. So we're going to have to make some tweaks to it. But it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Run user management quick start. So once once your database is started, head over to your project's SQL editor. Run the user management starter quick start. Okay, let's go over to there. I'm not sure if this is still active. We might have to manually do it. So we'll go to SQL editor like it says. And then it says to run, oh, I think is it down here? Once you're, okay, on SQL editor page, scroll down until you see, okay. It says on the editor page, scroll down, let's see. There's no, oh, quick starts. User, oh, there we go, okay. All right, so let's look at what this is doing. Creates a table for public profiles, UID reference, auth users on delete cascade, not null primary key. So what this is saying, the UUID, the unique user ID, is what's created when the user creates an account and they get added to the authorization table. That's going to be the key that we use. Actually, we're using it as our primary key in the profile table as well, but it's a foreign key in that they're connected to each other. So it's going to be referencing the other table. So they're both going to use the same primary key. Now, why am I doing this? I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. What we have, let me talk about this real quick. Authentication has a table. This has specific stuff, UID, that's a UUID, display name, email, phone number, providers, all this stuff. But there's more stuff that I want. I want to be able to have first and last name separately. I want to be able to have an avatar picture, all that kind of stuff. So if I want to have that, I need to create a separate table, but it needs to be connected to this auth table. So when they authenticate, it's going to create an entry here. And then if I go back to the SQL editor, what I want to happen is when that entry arrives, I want that to automatically create an entry in a profile as well that's connected. So this is creating the profiles table for us. This is PostgreSQL. We're setting up row level security, which we're going to learn about later. But row level security basically tells you who can access what. What this is saying is public profiles are viewable by everyone. So that means the profile information that's in the profile table, it's viewable by anyone regardless of their account. So if I have an account and you have an account on the same website, I can see your profile information, which, that means that we want to make sure our profile doesn't have any private information in there, because it's just going to be like a public profile. Where essentially, it even says that here, we're creating a public profile, and that's fine. Now this one, create policy users can insert into their own profile. This is allowing us to, if I want to edit my profile, I can only edit my own profile. It's going to verify that the authorized user ID matches the ID from this table before it allows me to update. So if we're authenticated correctly, then we can make changes to our own profile. And then this is a special function that's creating a trigger. And this trigger is making it so that when we create a new user or authenticate a new user, it automatically will create a profile entry on our profile table as well. Create policy avatar images are publicly accessible. So this is related to the buckets here, and I'm actually going to take this stuff out. I'm not going to use this storage. So we're going to take this last part out here. We're going to be using blob storage instead. I just want to give you access to different systems. I also think this might have a cost associated with it when I looked before. Possibly not, but we're going to use blob storage instead, and it'll work totally fine. All right, so I'm going to delete this. So it's not going to do any of that stuff. And then we're going to run this query here. There we go. Now when I go back to my table editor, it created this profiles table, and it has full name. Maybe we'll just leave it as that. It has a username as well. No, let's do this. I don't want to have a username. I'm going to use the email. Actually, yeah, we can use the, never mind. We'll just set the email to be the username. Okay, let's just leave it like this. I don't need that first and last name. Website, we probably aren't going to have, but I can put it on there, sure. Let's just leave it the default. I guess that'll make it more simple later. But anyway, we have our profiles table set up now. It's automatically linked to our authentication table. And in the next video, we'll see how we actually implement authentication and then how that creates the profile.